Hey y'all, it's me, Lynn Daniel, coming to you today. It is Saturday, March 18th, 2017. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about this. I'm going to make a video to new teachers, and I'm going to encourage you, if you really feel called to teaching, especially middle school, then I am going to encourage you to do your best and stick with it. Stick with it. You know, teaching is a tough career. It's a tough calling. It's not a job, because a job is something that you go to and you leave every day. And you go to and you leave every day. But with teaching, it's a calling, because in you, you have a desire to want to influence the lives of the young people that you teach. You want to influence their families in regards to understanding their child, and you want to influence your school to become, its best, if it isn't already, to either remain its best, keep a high standard, or to work towards improving the standard. You want to see the best for your learners. So that's how you know it's a calling. Teaching is a very rewarding career, but it's very tough, and especially in public schools. So I'm going to focus this video on public school, middle school teachers. Okay, because that's me. I'm a public school teacher. Middle school has been my, the bulk of my career. I've taught elementary, like in summer schools or summer camps, but the bulk of my career, all of my career, has been in middle school. I taught high school too in summer school, but middle school is what I know. Okay, so middle school is 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Some configurations are 7th and 8th. There are some elementary schools that call their higher grades their 6th, 7th, and 8th grades middle school. Okay, so the configurations can look differently, but I think the concept or the philosophies behind middle school are pretty much similar. Like, I was taught that the philosophy of middle school is to address the needs, the psychological, physiological, social, emotional needs of learners. And so that's what middle schools do. And that's a big job, because, academics are important, because you are in school to learn. But what we found, and what most middle school teachers find, is that middle school students are quickly undergoing developmental changes that are different from when they were younger, because younger students are also going through developmental changes. But the changes that the middle schoolers are undergoing are different. It's pushing them towards young adulthood. And so they're becoming more independent. They are beginning to understand what they like or who they are as individuals, even though they may not be able to articulate it fully in 6th and 7th grade, maybe even 8th, but they're beginning to become more aware of themselves as individuals, detached from their role as a child to their parent, detached from their role as a sibling to their siblings. They're becoming aware of who they are as an individual person. And so middle school is a challenge. So there are several things that the middle school teacher is going to need. First off, I think you need a mentor. So I'm going to write these down so I can kind of keep track of what I'm saying. So number one, I think it is important to have a mentor. So a mentor would be another professional educator, administrator, someone who understands middle school, maybe a colleague, or, a teammate, or someone in your building, or maybe not in your building, but someone you have access to, who you can share your ideas with, someone who can help you with structural processes, like answer your questions about using technology in the classroom, or, you know, for record keeping or for instruction, or questions about communicating with parents and with students, how to craft your communication for your different audience. Your mentor can also, you can share your ideas when it comes to planning specific lessons or activities. And I think it's really, when your mentor is a same content area peer, colleague, that person is teaching the same content that you're teaching. So if you're bouncing ideas off of them, they are able to share with you if they've done an activity and how it worked and how it may not have worked. So it might even be the best type of mentor would be one in your content area, but it doesn't have to be. So, but you want someone who you can bounce your ideas off of. You also want someone who can help you with organization, like how to organize your records, how to organize file cabinets, how to organize student work. Are you going to do portfolios? Or are you just going to have files and drawers for student work? Are you going to collect and maintain a portfolio of work, or are you passing work back to students and having them to take it home, or what? You need some sort of routine established surrounding work so that students understand what to do with work, like how to turn in work and how to receive work back from you, so they can articulate that to parents. So you need a mentor. Secondly, I think you need good communication with colleagues. Now, when I was a new teacher, I had to work on communication, and I still do, because I tend to be quieter and a quiet observer, and I will speak when I feel it is necessary to speak. But when I was a new teacher, I was very quiet, you know. So yeah, it's important to learn how to communicate with your peers and with your students and with your parents. There's a book that Smarty Styles, I watch her videos. Hi, Smarty Styles. I don't know if she watches mine, but she shared a communication book in one of her most recent videos. And it's a book with different types of feedback that you can provide on students' assignments, student progress reports, report cards during parent-teacher conferences. There are just sentence frames or sentences that speak to students' behavior, work habits, attitudes, and that types of thing. Academic, you know, their preparation for school, having materials and all of that. So a part of good communication is being able to articulate your point succinctly. So if you can find the book, is not here, it's at work. So, and I don't know the name of it. If I can look on Amazon and then put it in the description bar for you if you're interested in buying it. But it was very inexpensive, like $8 or $9, and very helpful. Another way, a form of communication, like during parent-teacher conferences, I find this helpful because I tend to just, now when I'm at a conference with a parent, I can chat it up. So a friend suggested that I use a pre-made form and already have it filled out for my scheduled conferences with the student's name, and then there are comments already prepared on that document, and you can circle them or highlight them and use that document as a guide for the conference. Then there's a space at the bottom for handwritten notes to the parents about the child. And then if you have an unscheduled conference, you can use that form and fill it in as you're having the conference, and then give it to the parents at the end. So communication is very important. Being able to communicate with your students too. One thing that I like to do with my students this year, we do the fist bump. And I say, pass the knowledge, and we fist bump. I think students need to know that you like them or that you enjoy interacting with them, and however you can show that. I saw a video on Facebook where this one teacher or a couple of teachers had made up handshakes for every student. Well, those teachers probably teach one class, whereas middle school teachers teach hundreds of students a day, if not 200 or almost 200 a day. And so I can imagine it would be very difficult to have a long, fancy handshake for every child unless you do something quick, But so I do the fist bump with my students, particularly the guy students. They like that. And I say, pass the knowledge, And so being able to communicate with them about how they are progressing, so that they will be receptive and they can understand what you're expecting of them or how you are expecting them to improve. That is very important as well. One thing that I find ineffective is yelling at students, and I've done it and I still do it. But if that's your only what do they call that? The police call it modus operandi or whatever. If that's your only mode of speaking to students by yelling demands and commands at them, then you're not going to have the students. It's very important for the middle school student to build a bridge with them, set the tone with them when they enter your room or when they come to your door and they're lined up or however you receive them, and then you welcome them in your space. And you proceed your day. Another thing of communication is communicating your expectations and your procedure for handling disruptive behavior. So you can have those, you can speak them to your students, but also have them posted in your room, what the classroom expectations are, what the consequences are when they fail to follow those, and then, and be sure to stick with that. And I like how my school handles that. I like how we have reflection rooms. I find that to be very beneficial for students who, for whatever reason, really have a difficult time transitioning to new classes, coming in and starting. They just really they take a lot of time to calm down and get under control, self-control, so that they can learn. Sometimes those students need a quiet space, and if the quiet space in the room isn't working, then you need a system of communicating to them, and a routine of communicating to them how to get to the reflection room and to return, and while they're there, what they should be doing. So communicating is paramount. Organization is number 3. So organization looks like a lot of different things. So organization would be your plan book. So your planning will fall under organization. So that's your plan book and all the materials that you're needing to plan. Like you need the district and school district curriculum. You need your like curriculum maps. You need the materials. You need like long range plans. You need the different standards and depths of knowledge, DOK levels, depths of knowledge levels. That shows rigor for each standard. And so all of those things can help you to develop your plans quite well. So we're using Engage New York ELA. And so the thing I like about it is it's very well planned already with the standards, the activities, the materials you need. Everything is already written out and planned, and all I have to do is sit down and read through it and walk through it and see how it works. And then if I need to modify anything, I'm able to modify it for students with particular needs or learning needs. And so planning is essential for organization. Planning is key. And then planning and your mentor. So if you bounce your plans off of your mentor, you share them with your mentor, and get feedback before, during, and after, you know, or however you want to do it, to like either tell them what worked, what didn't work, or ask them, hey, have you tried this? What worked or what didn't work? So planning will be very beneficial to you and help to alleviate some of the anxiety that comes from that you already have from being a new teacher. Okay, and so organizing your records and having a system for record keeping. So having systems in place of where you keep materials, how you check out materials. If you have class libraries, if students check things out, how do they do that? You know, that needs to be a system. And then how do you, materials as far as classroom sets of books, how do you distribute those and keep those and care for those, and what's the routines surrounding classroom materials, how to get them, distribute them to students, how to collect them back, that type of thing. Another thing with organization is students' work, like when after you teach a lesson and you tell students what it is you want them to work on, you know, how much time do they have? They need to know how much time, the allotted time for that activity or for them to work on that in the classroom, if they are to take it home if they're not finished, or what should they do if they don't finish in that time frame. And then, you know, if you're collecting it, students need to understand the routine surrounding turning in work. You know, that you want their heading on there, first and last name, the date, or whatever your heading looks like. Who do they give the papers to if they are turning it in, or where should they place the papers? If you're doing portfolios or just files, how does that look? Or are you storing it in there, and then, you know, how does it look? So organizing, that's grading. You know, I call that housekeeping. And on housekeeping days, some of my classes do a very good job with handling housekeeping days routine. And I have a class that just doesn't understand it. They don't see the relevance yet of why we do housekeeping, where I'm giving them their work back to insert in their portfolios so that they can compare, see what their grades are on the papers, and then look at their printout. Some classes we do that, some don't because they can't handle it. So all of this is a part of organization. So when you're a new teacher, these are things that you need, because the job is hard and teachers are stressed. I would say another thing is professional development, because teachers need to have days out of the classroom where they are not penalized. And if you're taking a sick day, you're going to be penalized. New teachers, I think, need a lot more out of the classroom days spread throughout the year to let them have a breather away from the stress of the classroom, to get them in an environment with other professionals so they can sit and talk and listen and learn how to improve their craft, their skill, their trade, you know? So I think professional development is very important. And then all kinds of professional development, content that relates to the content that you teach, but also that relates to like management, organization, self-care, attitudes, or, you know, something that may not even relate to what you teach, but that may benefit you, that may just show you how to differentiate your lessons for particular demographics. Like you may have some students who excel beyond the norm, and so they may need some enrichment. And then you may have some students who struggle beyond the norm, and they may need some remediation. So you can find different professional development workshops and opportunities that will get you out of the classroom without being penalized for taking a sick day, but that will benefit you to improve your skill set. So let's see. So I've talked about mentors, good communication, organization with planning your curriculum, your materials, organizing your space. Your classroom really needs to be, if I go back and touch on that, your classroom, watch videos on different classrooms to see how they're set up so that you can make sure that your classroom space is organized. Look at Smarty Styles' classroom. She teaches 5th grade. Look, I think she said 5th grade. Look at her classroom. It's big, it's huge. But look at how everything is so organized in there. There's a teacher on my campus. I visited her classroom one time and I was very impressed. Just very organized and very neat. And I think this particular teacher teaches 3rd grade, I think. Yeah, 3rd grade. But her classroom was just spectacular. I was very impressed. So, yeah, and then professional development. Now, I do want to speak on retirement, okay? So many of you all know that I retired from my job back home, and I'm still teaching 7th and 8th grade. I love teaching. I like it. It's tough. It really is tough, but I like it enough to stick with it. You know, I haven't flipped out yet, so I guess I'm still good. So retirement. So the benefit of sticking with your career is that you have earned retirement at the end of your career. And teachers, by comparison, can retire young by comparison. So if you start teaching at 21, I think most districts follow the formula of your age plus 30, or your age plus years of service need to equal 80. That's what I think most public schools districts formula is. Your age plus years of service must equal 30. So that means if you start, must equal 80, Lynn, 80. All right, so your year, how old you are, plus years of service must equal 80. So if you start teaching at 21, do the math. Do the math, right? So I started teaching young, and then I taught 30 years, so I got to retire, okay? So you have earned your retirement. When you retire, you've earned it. Now, good teachers are needed in schools all over America. Good teachers are needed. And so, you know, if you want to continue to teach, and if you're able to, like me, just go in there and continue to help out, because I think you can make a difference in the lives of some people. Now, when you find yourself getting grumpy or just being ineffective, then leave before you get there. But if you know, those of you who are young teachers and you think you're going to stick it out, you know, do what you need to do to help you to make it through your career, because it is a blessing to be able to retire with still young enough to enjoy things. Find your mentor. Join professional organizations or professional groups. Help yourself to be very organized in your personal life and at school. Take very good care of yourself, and so that you can have longevity. And now I'm going to leave you with the tip that I got when I was a new teacher from a colleague who was older than me, and I didn't know this. I thought this person was just Fruit Looping, or just I didn't take this person seriously when they said this back then, but as years went on, I began to see why this person told me this. There were a couple of things this person told me, but the one thing that really sticks out in mine is to take care of yourself. Don't let yourself get too tired, too angry, too lonely, too overwhelmed, too stressed out, because there are individuals in the wings. The friend called them vultures. There are vultures who are looking for prey. And All they're going to do is suck off of your earnings, your salary, suck off of your salary, and before you know it, you'll be enslaved, and you won't have your salary, and you won't have your hopes and your dreams. Like you went into teaching for a reason. You had hopes and dreams, aspirations, you had a philosophy, you had a belief system, and so you have to guard yourself. And the way you guard yourself is to take very good care of yourself. Find trusted individuals to vent to if you need to vent. Find ways, positive ways to energize yourself, to rest yourself, to revive and rejuvenate yourself. Find positive, helpful, beneficial ways to do that. Do not do any of those self-destructive things, because in the end, it's not going to pay off for you. So that's what I'm going to end with. And thank you for watching my video. Be blessed. Bye.